This is Ros Jones, your business coach with my weekly podcast show, Bold Business Bits, coming to you from Yorkshire. This is where I have a great conversation with a phenomenal female business boss. We share some of the bold stuff they do, lessons they've learned, adversities they've overcome, and the fun they have. And then I'll be dipping into my toolkit and sharing a top tip. Business can be lonely, so make sure you join us each week and be part of our show. So hello and welcome. This is Ros Jones' Bold Business Bits podcast show, and today I'm joined by Cathie Heart of The Heart's Design. Welcome, Cathie.
Hi there.
Hello. So, Cathie, where in the world are you today?
I'm based in York in the UK.
Okay. And tell me about The Heart's Design.
The Heart's Design started way back when at university. I actually enjoyed doing graphic design as a hobby. And then somebody asked me to make a website. And my very first professional website that I ever made fit on a 3.5-inch floppy disk.
Wow.
And ever since then, I kind of did that as like personal projects. But once I hit redundancy, literally about 10 years ago, that's when I decided, okay, well, people keep on asking me for websites. Maybe I should turn that into something professional.
Yeah.
So here we are.
So did you learn how to do websites? Because this sounds quite a long time ago.
No, I'm actually a certified tech geek, undergrad in business information systems, a PG dip in advanced computer science, and then a master's in information management, none of which has taught me how to do HTML, websites or anything, but it did teach me to teach myself and not to be afraid of tech.
Oh, excellent. You sound like a very handy person to know. No wonder everybody asks you for their websites.
It's about how you present and manage information on the internet. And so that's why websites are so crucial, because it's your voice and your platform that you own, that you can say what you wish.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
I believe in the power of websites.
So how do you keep up to date? Is it just a natural gift for you, or do you have to keep up to date with things, or what?
No, I constantly keep on reading the releases of all of the new things that come out. So when WordPress updates a new version, I have to read the spec of what they've updated. Right. And then I'm constantly training. You can't take a break with tech. If you're wanting to be on the cutting edge of it, you have to keep going.
Yeah.
But the beauty of that is that when you do know what you're doing, you just edit it for yourself and you just crack on. And the tech, when you know what bits you want to use, works for you rather than against you. So it's knowing those little tricks.
And I guess, well, especially this last year, well, I mean, it's been moving so fast anyway, but I guess the last year or so, due to lockdown, everybody working online, there must have been some massive advancements. Have you seen?
There have been the standard advancements. There haven't really been big changes in terms of website deliveries and all of that kind of thing. There are always companies coming out that offer new services. So I watch places like Mega Deals and Design Cuts and other places that offer graphics and software that is coming out. So quite often when somebody launches a new business, they offer lifetime plans for a discounted rate. So I quite often buy into those and then I wait to see how they develop over a year or two. Yeah, there's lots of different things out there that you can find cheaper that are launching now, but they may or may not be viable within a year or two. So you just have to give it a go.
It's like gambling in technology.
Yeah, it is. It is. I just wish it was investment.
Yeah.
So anyway, but things like Grum worked out really, really well for me. It's an Instagram scheduling app, but it did this before Instagram scheduling with Later and all of that came along. So it allowed me to have an agency plan that controlled 5 Instagram places. And so it worked well.
Yeah, very good. And so you're in York, but I know you haven't always been in York. Where are you from?
Born and bred in Leeds, but my family and my dad is a contractor, so we've always followed wherever the work was. I always saw him going off to far-flung places like Singapore and Sweden and things like that, and I was like, oh yeah, this is amazing. This sounds like a great lifestyle. So I always aspired to it, to be able to work where you wanted. It actually wasn't like that. He literally just went where the work was. But I've lived most of the UK. I think it's 23 houses that I've lived in now. Wow. I'm 41, turning 42 in July. And I think it's 23 places that I have now lived. And I consider it living if my post has gone there.
All right, okay, yeah.
And my bank and all of that kind of thing.
Yeah. So do you have a favourite place?
I have favourite accents and I have favourite people, but I don't really have favourite places. And so accents that feel like home to me are the South African one, because I lived in Durban for about 4 years. So whenever I hear the South African accent, that's my childhood to me. So I feel like I've gone home. I'm not South African, I am English. And then favourite people, so it's always been my parents or my homes, wherever they are, doesn't matter where that is, I feel like I'm home.
Is it a sense, or is it just being around those people, or is it a certain smell, a play? What is it about them that makes them feel like you're home?
So, for example, my holiday that I have every September, it's a Women's International holiday. And I always scoffed at people that said they always go back to the same place, because until 5 years ago, I never found a place that felt like home. But this International Women's Holiday does, because every year we go back and I can walk down that same street with the same shops and the same people. And I don't know them, but we've seen each other before and I can wave to them. And if I want to talk to them, we both stop and have a chat. And that feels more like home than anything else. So it's a beachside holiday resort place. It's not a resort, it's a tiny little town. But the fact that I can go there and within 2 hours of arriving, all of my stress is shed. Yeah. And it's just an amazing space and a place to be.
Yeah. Whereabouts is it that you go?
I go to Scala Erissos in Lesbos.
Okay.
It's the birthplace of Sappho.
Yeah. Fantastic. So tell me a bit more about the Heart's design, because the Heart's design, it sounds very much like the Heart's desire.
I'm glad you picked that up, because that is exactly what I did. I wanted people to be able to live authentically and speak from their heart. And so that's what the Heart's desire and where my logo comes from. It's a heart with a speech bubble in it. And so that's why I want people to live life on their terms, whatever that is, and to be able to make their own income in living. And so that's why it's the Heart's desire. It's the passion of what lifestyle you want to live, but also the thing that you want to do in order to have that lifestyle.
Fabulous. And so how does that come about? That was from your own story?
Yeah, I wanted to always remember that people can box you in if they wish to and say, well, this is how you should be, this is how you should live. But I've never ever fit a specific box. And so I've always been outside of it. I was always the deaf kid that was different, or the dyslexic one that goofs up my conversation at times. I've always been different. And now I celebrate that fact. And so that's why I go for that.
And what's that I can see that you have got something around your neck? There's some sort of gizmos.
Oh, it's because I'm deaf. I have a T-loop headset. So it means that instead of having cans or a headset that goes in my ears, it's just a little box that hangs around my neck. And it means that I can hear straight into my hearing aids and straight into the centre of my head. Wow. It's quite cool, actually.
Wow. So have you always had a hearing thing?
Yeah, I was born this way.
Okay. Has that impacted you at all? Or do you mind me asking?
Crisis of confidence. And I've been told many, many times that I am rude, because people start talking to me from behind and I'm like, I'm really sorry. If I can't see you, I can't really hear you. It means that I've got to change my way of working, because I can't do phone calls unexpectedly, because I start panicking going, what if I can't hear them? I've been told off by customer services on call centres. They just start shouting down the line at me because they think that being louder means that I can hear them. No, not necessarily. It just means it gets more muffled. But call centres are not great places for deaf people to try and hear, with multiple conversations all happening at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's an adaptation that you have to adjust for.
But does that mean that you've got other senses that are like sort of highly awakened, if you like? I know that people with sight difficulties, they often have a sense of touch or smell and things like that.
No, I don't have any sensory improvements in that regard, but I am a keen observer of body language. So I can tell with my photography, when I did wedding photography for a few years, it really helped, because I could tell that there were circumstances that were about to bloom before they actually happened. Whereas some photographers are like, oh my God, I was just too late. I didn't see that happening. It's natural, but it really helps me when it comes to connecting with people. finding out how they're reacting. So I particularly love doing street and documentary photography just to observe people. So yeah, it helps when I do photography.
Yeah, very interesting. And so in this time, during this pandemic, what's the impact been for you, Cathie?
It's been quite an impact. My clients have either not been able to afford my existing prices. So I've helped quite a few businesses with a COVID-19 discount, which was 50% off. And then there was the hospital couldn't continue my pain treatment. So I had to shut down my business formally for 2 months until they managed to get that treatment centre back up. But yeah, it's just another challenge to get through.
What's the treatment that you do?
I have migraines and I get Botox, medical Botox.
Okay.
And so it's a really effective treatment for me. It's the only one that works.
Wow. So while that clinic while you weren't able to have the clinics, did you just have to put up with migraines?
Yeah, I just go back to my original migraine level, which is 25 to 30-day migraines a month, which is pretty much constant migraines. When I get the treatment, it's between 3 and 5 migraines a month. Yeah. So it really works.
And I guess, migraines are often associated with stress and things, aren't they? Is that correct?
Yeah.
So this probably is exacerbated a lot of that as well, I imagine. Perhaps.
It can do, but I have a really good handle on it most of the time. I eat healthily. I try to exercise. I know how to listen to what my body is telling me. And that's the best clue that I can give to people is really pay attention to what your system is telling you. If you need to stop and rest, actually stop and rest. And then you can continue the next day. Whereas there's been times for many years where I just pushed through it. And then I would completely grind to a halt. I just could not do anything. So it's actually a really great thing to be able to be self-employed and to be able to define your own hours. That's why I want to help people live on their terms, because I know that there are so many challenges. I'm doing end-of-life care, which I've done for my grandparents, trying to manage your family, trying to manage your health. There's so many things that are all challenges for us that we need to find ways to work smarter. And that's why I help do that with websites that help you and other businesses do marketing more effectively rather than having to do it purely manually.
Yeah. So when you talk about living life on your terms, what does that mean for you, Cathie?
It means that when my family ask for help, I can often drop the work and just go and help. So I'm immediately available for whatever task is happening. It means that when I need to take some downtime, I can take that downtime and I work with my clients to make sure it doesn't affect what they're doing. I have a team of other people that I outsource to so that if I have too much of a downtime, they are called in so that the work does not suffer. But yes, that's what living on my terms means. It means I have that ultimate flexibility to go, I need some help, I get the help in, or yes, I can do it, steamroller ahead, get it all done. So that's why I like working smarter, because on the days where I'm steamrolling and I can do everything, I schedule up the content and the social media. And so it keeps going when I'm just having my time out. So it's either time out because I want to have time out or time out because my body says it needs to.
I love that. I think there's a lot of, is it pressure? Is it our own pressure on ourselves that we have this sense of obligation?
It's an expectation of being productive. We are valued for being productive. And if we are not seen to be productive, what is your value to society? Well, there are a lot of people who cannot do a full-time job that are extremely valuable. And these are the people that I really want to help, because obviously with people experiencing long COVID now, they're having radical changes in their lives and they're going, oh my God, my self-value came from earning money and from being productive. And now there's a thing that's stopping them. How do they get through that? And so it's about finding the little things that give you joy and forgiving the outages and just getting through it. So people have challenges. We just need to find different ways to get through them.
Yeah.
And I use tech.
Yeah. I use books.
I use books too.
What's your favourite book? Do you have one?
I am a big sci-fi fantasy, so I love Anne McCaffrey's books. The Dragon series was good, but I particularly liked the Crystal Singer. And the reason I loved her works is it's really strong, female-centric, like powerful women. The thing that I hate in movies is the woman turns to the man and says, "What should we do next?" And I'm like, "You've got a brain, love. You can figure it out."
Fantastic. In this show, Cathie, I often ask my guests if they've had a time of adversity. Time was really tough, but actually they came through it and there was some goodness, if you like, that came out of it. Do you mind sharing such a time
One
of
of those?
adversity?
Yeah, I have gone through 2 redundancies. Once I was volunteered because my boss just didn't get what I was doing. And so I got volunteered for redundancy. And then the second time, the entire site shut down. I was still learning about how to manage my migraines, and it was still a difficult time. And I couldn't find another job quick enough. So I moved home, and my grandmother at the time was experiencing really bad dementia. She was in decline of her life. So I spent about 3-4 years doing end-of-life care for her.
Wow.
And supporting my mother to do that, because the blessing that I've learned from this is that I have no regrets about supporting my 2 grandparents with their end of life, and my parents to be able to go through that too. The thing that I found the blessing is that I realized none of us are truly independent. And I'm a person with a really fierce independent streak. I do not wish to rely on others, but I'm learning that when you actually ask for help, people like being asked for that help. It feels good to give help and know that we are making a difference in that other person's life. And so that's been the blessing and the learning for me, that while I was struggling with why the hell was I made redundant? Why was I volunteered? Why was the site shut down? Why were all of these? And it goes back to that productivity. If you're not being productive, what are you? And we're all taught we have to make money, we have to contribute to society, we have to be independent. And I'm learning that actually it's the community effort of being there when somebody needs to help you, but also reaching out for that helps makes the other person feel good. So doing that, building a community of people around me, running my own business, doing end-of-life care and supporting my family were really, really crucial years. For about 6-7 years that I was doing 2 back-to-back end-of-life care.
Wow. And was that because you've come out of it with this new sort of self-awareness and new learning about yourself?
Yeah, that's the bonus of being self-employed, is that you are it. So if you don't manage your own mind, your own health, and your own learning of how to do things, there's no real fallback. And so the government and the systems don't always help people. So in my case, I am too healthy, too hearing. I have enough money that they go, and you don't need any.
Yeah.
So I'm one of the ones that would fall through the cracks. So it's important to know your mind and to figure out how you work for yourself. And that's why self-employed is actually a really great adventure if you embrace it as that.
Yeah.
So rise to the challenge.
Yeah, love that. Life is a real adventure, isn't it? Every day is an adventure.
It is.
Yeah.
Especially when you're self-employed, because it's not the same 9-to-5 job.
Something wonderful happens every day to challenge you or to thrill you in whatever way. So, Cathie, if there was a woman standing in front of you saying, "Cathie, I'm thinking about setting up my business," what would be your number one piece of advice?
Surprisingly, it's not tech. The number one piece of advice and my number one annoyance is that business names are not carried over into social media names. And I think it's incredibly crucial to being professional that, to take Nike, for example, we don't think, oh, we'll go to Nike.com for their website and we'll go to Nike Official on Instagram, but Nike Shoes on Facebook and then Nike Business on LinkedIn. No, we just go Nike. So if I could ever teach people to go on places like Namechecker, so if they just Google Namechecker, there's 2 websites that will help you know that your domain name and your social media handles, which is the @ and then the name, are both the same. So that instead of requiring people to remember 6 different things for one business, they only need to know the business name, and it is the same everywhere. That would be my number one crucial thing.
Okay, I love it that you said it's not techie.
I can see a perspective that, yes, it can be considered techie to others, but to me, it's a foundation business name thing.
About branding, isn't it? Branding consistently. Yes. Yeah.
That's part of what I do. I do websites, branding, and photography. So I do the entire package.
Do you do social media for people as well? Just out of interest.
No, I teach people how to use their website to do social media for them, but not manage their social media. So I'm not a person that will post on their behalf.
Yeah.
But there are plugins that interact with your website so that when you write a blog post, that blog post syndicates out to all of your social media in one go. So rather than doing one on your website, one on Instagram, one on Facebook, you just do one and it copies out.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that.
Working smarter.
And how else can we be working smarter right now, do you think?
I think planning, really knowing what you're going to do and how you're going to measure where you are now versus where you want to be in the future. Because I've winged it myself, and the only times where I've truly grown are where I've gone, right, this is where I'm at and this is where I want to go to. How am I going to get there? And I use things like David Allen's Get Things Done, which is where you split out the tasks and you organize them properly, step by step. Right, this is what I'm going to do. And I have a task sheet that has 3 things on it. I have the name of the task, the thing that I need to do. I have the duration of the task, and then I have an energy level. So that at the times where my energy levels are really quite low and I'm struggling and I'm low energy and I've only got 15 minutes of what I can concentrate on, I find those tasks and I go, I've still achieved something today. So it's that productivity thing. I made my bed. I've filled the dishwasher. I have done the things that are normal part of life. And then I've done a thing that will get me further in my business. So I don't believe in the hare and the tortoise that we need to be the hare. Fast. No, I would rather people understand that, yes, we can go really, really slow, but a really good foundation and a lot of thought.
Yeah. I love that. And so what's next for you, Cathie?
I have an exciting opportunity where I'm going to be taking on 10 people to launch their own website in 10 weeks. So yes, I'm a web designer that can take on the task of building the website for you, but I really want to teach more people how to do this for themselves, because I believe that if you know how to do something for yourself, you can then do it again and again and again. So teaching a person to fish, they will be able to feed themselves. Well, it's the same with websites and tech. Once they understand how it works, they no longer need to rely on somebody else that takes 2 weeks to change an image or a word or a this, that, and the other. And so that's why I'm teaching. So once you know how to launch that website, if that business is no longer viable, you just change and choose a different business name, different opportunity. You build that website and you go again. That is always going to be their power.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So I guess it's going to be online.
Yes, it absolutely is.
And so do you do it, or is it an online course, or how?
So it's part online and part live teaching. Right. So the actual course itself is pre-recorded, and you literally watch my cursor move across the screen, click here, and I explain the reasoning why of things. And so they're watching and they're doing. That's the most important thing to me, is that they're actually doing the process. Yeah. And then 2 or 3 days after the pre-recorded training, I will then do a live Q&A. So that if they're struggling with any little bit of it, that's when they ask for that particular week's instructions.
Oh, that's great. So 10 weeks, when does it start?
It starts on February 1st.
February the 1st.
And it is paid in full at $500 or in 3-part installments at $510. So I rounded up the money slightly just to make it a little bit easier. I don't know how to split multiple levels of pence, so I just made it easier at $510.
Yeah. What's it called and how do people find out more about it?
It's really inventive name. Launch your website and brand in 10 weeks. Okay. Just keep it simple. That is what it is. Yeah. And if people go to my website, theheartsdesign.com, so hearts with an S, design.com, they will find it about 2 scrolls down the page. there's 3 ways to work with me. One way is to obviously hire me to do the website. The second way is to take my course. And if they've just got a question and they're already using WordPress and have just a very simple question, a power hour, and I teach them there and then how to do the thing that they're struggling with. So whether that's WordPress, Canva, graphics, marketing, photography, whatever that is, whatever the skills that I have, I will teach them to do the thing that they're struggling with within that power hour.
Great. And that can all be booked on your website?
Yes, every single bit of it.
That's fantastic. It's been fantastic to speak with you this afternoon, Cathie. Thank you so much for joining us. It's great.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
I love talking to other businesses.
Yeah, that is brilliant. Thank you so much. Bye for now.
Bye.
In our conversation, Cathie talked about the need for ongoing learning in business. I'm a passionate believer in continuous learning. To grow as an individual and as a business, we have to learn new stuff. Otherwise, we stay in the same place. Whether it's learning new skills or even just becoming more aware of the impact our beliefs have on us, it's all learning. Here are 7 reasons we need to keep on learning. Number 1, becoming more valuable. By keeping up to date with trends and adapting and growing your skill set, you become more valuable to yourself, your business, and to society generally, and you can earn more money. Number 2, easier to adapt. Continuous learning will help you adapt swiftly to unexpected changes, and this is what the majority of us have had to do during this pandemic. It's easier to step up and out of your comfort zone when you have the habit of ongoing learning and challenging your thinking. Number 3, become the go-to expert. When you're always learning and staying ahead of the game, you'll become well known in your field, as people interacting with you will pass your name on to others as the expert. Number 4, boosts your confidence. Learning new skill takes us from the state of unconscious incompetence to unconscious competence, which boosts our confidence in our own capability. This feeling will undoubtedly then inspire us with confidence to take on more challenges and explore new ways to grow our business. Number 5 is innovation. The more you learn, the more light bulb moments you'll find yourself receiving. These will help you find innovative solutions to problems that will help your business growth. Number 6, change your thinking, change your life. Continuous learning opens your mind and gets you thinking differently. The more you learn, the better you'll be at seeing more sides of the same situation, getting new perspectives and helping you understand more deeply. And number 7, pass on your learning. Ongoing learning makes you more valuable to society. When you learn something new, pass on your new knowledge to others. You'll not only make room in your head for more new stuff, but you'll be helping someone else at the same time. So be curious, explore different topics, ask questions, keep a journal of all your learnings and reflections, and watch yourself grow. Above all else, be sure to take action on your skills and knowledge, otherwise you might as well not know it. This has been Ros Jones, Bold Business Bits. I hope you've enjoyed our show. See you next time. This has been your Ros Jones Bold Business Bits podcast show. If you'd like any further information about anything we've discussed today, please just get in touch. Go to businesscoachingyorkshire.co.uk. Please join me again next week when I'll be speaking with another phenomenal female business boss with bold business bits. And remember to subscribe to my show. Thanks for listening.